we
my
go,
goodness.
T-Rod. What's
What's
up,
going
buddy?
on, my guy?
Yeah,
Let's
happy New Year's
go.
Eve, bud.
Yeah, right
How
back
are
at you,
you?
my man. Right back at
It
you.
is we're testing out something new tonight.
We are, man.
Where the heck are you?
I'm just in my office here, man. Just
There
hanging
you are.
out and yeah, man. Yeah, it's really the first time I've ever tried doing anything like this from here. So yeah, here we
Yeah,
are. The
here we
glasses
are.
that I want to, normally so this is why I changed seats this season, right? So I didn't have to wear these into the stadium, man.
I,
But
I'm I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
but maybe if I dull that down a little bit, let's
Are we
see.
getting old or what's going on?
We
Anyway,
are, man. We are a little bit. At least I'm not looking. Hey,
yeah, I'm gonna lower
So
this. I'm
we'll
gonna go.
we'll forego right now, man. We'll just roll with it, man. We'll
Let's
just roll
roll with
with it.
it. Well,
Yeah.
it's a pleasure to be on, man. And it's New Year's Eve.
Oh man.
This time last year, we were meeting up down in Pasadena and Monrovia, and we were at an Airbnb.
Oh
And 1 year
man.
later, I'm in Bend, Oregon, at my house, out
Yeah.
on the
I'm here
back
in
patio.
Springfield, just over I-5 from Watson. You know. But yes, yeah, man. It's pretty incredible to think about. Uh, that yeah, basically a year ago we were well not here, but you know doing our thing and it's shout out to the people of Pasadena, right, that are still
Yeah,
a year recovering from the massive fires over there that happened
incredible.
right
Yeah,
after we left town or as we
absolutely.
were leaving town. So I hope everybody's doing well down there, of course. But yeah, I'm excited to be here, Chef Marc, right? I mean, come on, man.
Dude,
Quarterfinals, here
T-Rod.
we
Yes,
are.
it is.
uh
So,
yeah.
well, for those that don't know, this is the Oregon Football Tailgate Talk. I'm Chef Marc. That's
I'm
T-Rod.
T-Rod.
And this is the college football quarterfinal edition of our first season
Yeah.
doing the podcast together. And
Yeah.
what is it? 11 days ago, we were in Eugene, Oregon for the
Yep.
first round matchup in which Oregon played JMU. And now we're here on the road. This is our first podcast doing it remotely. So we're kind of messing around with a little bit of technology. And we did some trial run last night. And we just love the fact that we're here and able to do this and look forward to doing more of these remotes. As
Shout
time
out to you,
permits.
Chef Marc. Shout
Yeah.
out to you, my man. You're like, let's try it. I'm like, let's do it. So
You know,
yeah.
yeah, it's been so fun this season just to every Friday night before home games to do the podcast there at the Big Oregon Tailgate with you. And I was just getting that itch, I was like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
amped for the quarterfinal matchup, Oregon versus Texas Tech tomorrow. But like, I just needed to be able to like have a little bit of routine, have a little
Yeah.
bit of that. Just like, hey, we've been doing podcasts every single game, pretty much every single home game, pretty much this season. And we had one other road show in which we did up in Washington, but like this one is a little bit more remote, in which you're in Springfield, I'm in Bend. So
Yeah. And
thank
it's
you for all those that are joining in as well. So shout
yeah,
out to
it's
them. Yeah.
definitely it's funny because we kind of get the same itch at the same time where we're like, man, we have to do this,
Right.
and so yeah, I'm just happy to be here with you. We got some chat in here already, so that's
Yes.
awesome. And
Ruben, what's
yeah.
up? Good to see you. Russ, what up, Duck fans? Love it.
You didn't
Latoya,
say Lubbock,
yeah,
did you? Said love it, love it.
love it. No, love the fact. No, yeah, not Lubbock. We don't talk about Texas today. Um, but yeah, it's New Year's Eve. We're out here doing the pod, and we just want to, I think this one's like one of those ones where I think it's important that we celebrate not only 2025, the season that it's been, but we kind of turn the page on 2025 and move into 2026, and I'm looking forward to it. I just can't wait. So let's dive into the podcast, man. Let's
Yeah,
dive
you
into
know
the
what?
topics
And
here.
and we are live, and even though we may not have one to show, we still have to rep.
Yep.
And so, a shout out to Josh and everybody over there at Size Pizza again.
Yes.
If maybe I should have went and picked one up. I don't know, but it's always a shout out to Josh and those guys at Size 1211 Alder Street. I got my stuff written down right here too.
You're all over it.
541-686-9598. Still quiet down there on campus, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
able to
school's
get in
out
and
right
get
now.
out. Yeah, absolutely. And then it's sizenewyorkpizza.com.
Yeah.
Go and check them out and tell Josh we sent you over there.
Yeah, what a gift of Josh and Size Pizza stepping up to sponsor this podcast in our inaugural year
Yeah.
of doing this. Like, really, it was like the second or the third one, and he was like, watched us, and made the suggestion. And man, it's been a pleasure. Just
absolutely.
fun, easy plug for him, and not only that, but those pizzas are delicious. I truly am. It's probably the one thing I am missing. The fact that we're on the road tonight. So
I'm
hit
jealous
him
that I
up.
can't eat the crust.
Yes.
But what I can tell you, people, is that I eat the hell out of the top of those pizzas. So there you go. But yeah, and the crust always looks delicious. So yeah.
Yeah, you called a keto audible on those pizzas, and
That's right.
Yeah. Double pep
right.
is our favorite. And once again, thank you, Size New York Pizza. So let's take two on the game versus JMU. In this segment, we talk about one offensive player, one defensive player from the game versus JMU, in which Oregon won 51-34 to move forward to the quarterfinal. Do you have an offensive player in which you were like, this is the guy that really kind of stood out for me offensively in that game versus JMU?
Yeah, I thought a couple of explosive plays early kind of set the tone early, and people want to harp on how the game ended or whatever, which, it is just what it is, right? It was just a motivational half is what I called that second half. It's a motivational half.
Yeah.
Right. But I thought the minute he got his hands on the ball the first time, De'Aaron Hill was impactful.
Yeah.
Right. So he's, we'll just leave it at that. Everybody knows what he did. They saw what he did. I look forward to even some more of that. I think, and we'll talk about that later, but I thought he was money, this game, and set a tone for us for the explosive plays. Noah right off the bat had that great run, but I think De'Aaron's just stood out. And that's my offensive guy right there.
Yeah, I love that pick. It's like going into the season when I thought about De'Aaron Hill, I thought, would he redshirt? Like, what was his role? And really, I mean, he's been an impactful player. I think within that running back room, the fact that it's like pretty much three guys, Noah, De'Aaron, and Jordan Davidson. And you're right. I mean, when he turned that corner and took it down, the sidelines, I think somebody had mentioned, and I may be mistaken here, but I think he got clocked at 23 miles an hour. That's smoking. I mean, you're talking pads down that sidelines. Like that's, let's go, man. I love that pick.
At 23 in my neighborhood.
School zone.
That's about the only way I've ever seen 23 myself. So
yeah, well, and to be frank, like the school zone is 20 miles an hour, and so that's a fines double. So De'Aaron, be cautious there. Eugene PD, let that guy go.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh yeah.
Let that guy go. Especially when he's on the field, and that's what I'm talking about. When he's on the field, just let him run through that school zone. So I love that pick. For me, offensively, it was Malik. And I think after the game, you and I were talking with some friends at the tailgate, and I don't know if I was like an early adopter or whatnot, but like I think that with Malik going into when the accordion went down, it was kind of like his time to really kind of show up and shine. Whether it was against Iowa, it was like that was like, I don't know if you want to call it a coming out party type thing, but like he obviously has the skills, he obviously has the talent, and the ability to show up. It was just like a matter of like, hey, when is that going to click? And that against Iowa, that key catch in the couple key catches on that last scoring drive, in which Atticus kicked the game-winning field goal. But the week after, we're playing. Was that USC? I got to go back, but it was like, hey, or there's the USC game in which I mentioned, hey, this is the time in which he can be on the national stage. This is the game of the week, and he really truly did showed up. And the fact is, this is like against JMU. Now I mean, most of us watch the game, right? So you can watch that first half and look at it, and there's a talent disparity. But the fact is like there was a connection between Malik and Dante on those deep passes to score touchdowns, in which they were in stride and the balls were right there. And I'd love to see that for him. I'd love to see what he's doing. With that connection between him and Dante. So I look forward to watching more of Malik Benson
Yeah.
in the near future.
Well,
Tomorrow. How about that?
and
Yeah.
you're on the money, right? There's there's a rhythm right now with
Right.
there's a rhythm right now that, yeah, I don't think it's going to be disrupted by, a couple of guys returning. It's just an added layer. And as these playoffs progress, hopefully past tomorrow, but even starting tomorrow, we saw a little bit of introduction at JMU,
Mm-hmm.
but really starting tomorrow, we're going to see a different layer of that wide receiver room that we didn't have early on in the season. Right, the guys had kind of separated themselves into 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. A couple go down. uh, that has changed. The musical
Yeah.
chairs has changed, and everybody's had to sit one out, if you will, and
Right.
not grab that chair, but taking advantage of the times that they do. Tomorrow's going to be a different animal. Um, you don't have that many defenders to cover that many wide receivers
Right.
that can
Yeah.
hurt you. So we'll see how that plays out against that Texas Tech defense. And so, Ruben, we got you
Yeah.
for next year. You know this, my man, and I do what I call a bang bang. Hit up
Yeah.
2 different food spots. I go to New York. There
Dude,
you go, man.
Russell, you have that dial, man. Like that.
Oh my
Like, oh my
God,
God,
super
super
fat
fat
status.
status. Like,
There
we
we
got
go,
cheat.
Russell.
I have goals for 2026, and one of them is my health. But you got to have those cheat days in which I mean, bang bang, hit it up. Like, uh, I may have to do that. Like the size and then the Euro meat on the cheese slice. That does sound good. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
anyway,
it's
yeah.
it definitely it sounds delicious to me and unattainable. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I
Right.
mean. And so,
Right.
yeah,
Right. That's awesome.
Russell, you are on the money, my man.
Yeah,
You're on the money.
absolutely. Let's flip to the defensive side of the ball versus Jamie. And I think that like if we were to like step back and look at the 10,000 foot view of that game, I think that those of us that were in the stadium may have had a different perspective or different like feeling going leaving the game than the fans that I've spoken to or heard about or read about. Online or wherever that watched it on TV. And I think that it's fair. I mean, I think that in the stadium um, it felt a bit like a practice in which guys were getting reps, and
Yeah,
there was a lot of depth being used where you're seeing second, third, some fourth string guys. A lot of players in JMU ran 95 offensive plays against Oregon in that game. And the second half was definitely different than the first. And Dan Laney talked about it. So let's talk about the defense. Who's your take two defensive player from the game, the first round game versus James Madison?
just because we talked about him, and I think he was one of my ducks to watch was from the last game, but because we talked about him, and I think he's just going to continue to show up because each game could be his last game as Bryce,
Yeah.
and the impact he had on containment for one in that game. You saw him all over the field, which you do most of the time. It's not a hard pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Right now I am just rooting for that kid hard,
Yeah.
right? Because just because he loves the program so much, loves every opportunity that's handed to him, and just wants to take advantage, wants to soak it in.
Right.
But we saw the videos of those guys getting off the plane. If faces are, speak, words without, speaking words, right?
Hmm.
Um, it's a business trip,
It is.
and it looked like it coming off the plane. And
Yeah.
and that's what we want to see.
Hmm.
And so, and I, as you see some of these videos of the interviews and them doing the media rounds and everything else, and all you're saying is just stay locked in.
Yeah.
Right. And I think Bryce is the guy that's going to keep this team, this defense, especially, really just locked in.
Right.
So, that,
Yeah.
that was my guy.
No, and I think you're right. I was kind of like thinking about that on the defensive side, and I was leaning towards Bryce, and I think you're right. The way that in which he was playing against JMU with whether it was in the run game or getting after the quarterback, etc. Like
Yeah.
it was a game in which he should feel proud about, but he's not satisfied with, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that you're right. The way in which this team um, has treated this last 10 days is it has been business, and there is more left in the tank. There's more
Yeah.
in which they need to go out and prove. And for me, like when I thought about the defensive side of the ball, it wasn't necessarily the defense, but in which uh, I would point at one particular player. But I'm going to move to the special teams side of things, in
Okay.
which I
Okay.
thought that we mentioned it earlier in the year, and I think I gave a shout out to Joe Lorig, our special teams coordinator, in which our special teams has really shown up and has been
Yeah.
very consistent. I don't
Yes.
like to talk about special teams, so I'll air it out. Like the fact of the matter is like there's certain attributes of special
Yeah.
teams in which is important to the game. There's
Yeah.
three. You got offense, defense, special teams. If you can win those in those three areas each and every single game, you're going to generally win the game, right?
Right.
Now it's a funny shaped ball and things can happen. And one of the things that did happen in the game was Blake Purchase blocked a guy into the punter's ball, and it blocked the
Yep.
punt, right?
Yep.
And then Jane Lamar, coming off an injury, scoops and scores. And it was that at that point in the game in which you're kind of like, okay, this is in the bag, per se, in the first half. But even like still going into the second half, and I think it's James Ferguson Reynolds doesn't get enough credit. Now, should we be talking about a punter? Like, ultimately, you
Well, you
don't
know
want to
what?
be punting, right? But like,
Sure.
dude, he put that ball on the 1 yard line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, now the result of after what happened after putting the ball on the 1 yard line needs to get fixed, period, right? But
Right.
the fact is like to have that weapon to be able to flip the field like that is
Yeah.
going to be valuable as we go into the game tomorrow, um, and
Yeah.
possibly into the future, right?
Right.
So the special teams really what we're doing, whether it's on kickoff, whether it's on punt coverage, or whether it's on kicking the ball point after or etc. It's been quite impressive. There's been some questionable 2 point conversion opportunities that we went after this year, but nonetheless, it's been fun. It's been a valuable asset to our team. I think it needs to get the credit where credit's due.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, outside of, when you talk about unsung heroes on a football team, I think it's offensive line and then your punters.
Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
and they have to be mentioned,
Yeah.
or it's, and so I agree. And I think he's been effective all year, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
At least consistent. You're going to get something in play. He's also showing the ability to put something on the sideline, and so no, I think this is a great time to mention that special teams. And if it's the punter this week, it could be the automaticus next week. You never
Right.
know. And I think special teams could be huge in this game tomorrow. Huge.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I think that's on the money. I love that call, actually. going against the grain a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe shame on us for not putting special teams in as an option earlier. So yeah, I
right.
see you just kind of taking that, be it the little pinch hitter shot right there, and putting them in there, my man. Good
Let's
job.
go. Let's go. Line them up. Line them
That's
up.
right.
Let's go.
That's right.
Let's go. All right. So the next segment is just the tailgate tips with T-Rod.
Yeah.
Obviously, this week, we're remote. I'm here in Bend. T-Rod's in Springfield, and so we're a little bit remote. So T-Rod, what's your tailgate tip of the week?
It's interesting. You know what? My tailgate tip of the week, Chef Marc, is, even though it's not Thanksgiving, it's give thanks. Right? We're going into the next year,
Mhm.
right? Knock on wood. We're doing this again. You know, in 2026 for the first one.
Right.
And um, like you talked about earlier, we're basically 1 year from being in Pasadena, and things happen, and we morph into this podcast idea, and here we are, episode 10,
Yeah.
right?
Episode 10.
Season 1, episode 10, a New Year's Eve quarter final special, the last one before the end of 2025. And so for me, what better way to end the season is to give thanks and talk about those people that make our tailgate possible. The Big
Mhm.
Oregon tailgate doesn't happen just by accident, right? We just don't decide what we're going to do, the last minute, 11th hour, and we just throw this thing together. On average, and maybe some people don't know this, on average, we host anywhere from 75 to 120 people. We don't know. We don't know what to expect, but there's a group of us that make things happen. Right. And so I want to take this opportunity, every single one of you that is watching, will watch, in our group of people, and then some extensions of that, right? Um, I want everybody and every single one of you to know how appreciated you are, how much we love doing this with you, and we just look forward to many, many more to come, right? And so let's get her going. So you know what, Chef Marc, the first person I want to give thanks to, well, is my guy right here, Chef Marc. You know what, man? This was an idea born between us two, bringing our stuff together.
Yeah.
And you handle the menu. People know that part about you, but they don't know the other parts about you. And first of all, what a fantastic human being you are, right? Second of all, your meticulous way of wanting things planned ahead of time so we know our spots. You keep us in order. You're not just chef, you're sergeant, lieutenant, Captain Marc. And I know that I'm speaking for everybody in our group that we appreciate you more than you probably even know, my man. So first, shout out to you,
Oh,
and
thank
just
you.
appreciate
Appreciate
you,
it.
my man.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Our guys Joe and Dan, R2, let's just call them
Yeah.
R2,
R2.
but our partners in crime, Joe and Dan. Obviously, we got Mr. DJ. It doesn't go off without those playlists. Yeah, and the speakers, and then helping with the food and the smoked meats during the season, and their families and the people, right? So Joe and Dan, appreciate you guys. B
Elise. Yep.
Jackson,
Hadley.
appreciate you guys so much, and for a myriad of reasons. And you know what those reasons are, outside of just the love that we all have for each other. But the biggest reason we love you so much is Starlink.
What would we do without Belize and Jackson Starlink?
Come on now,
Yeah,
but
yeah, no,
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 you
yeah,
know
but
what?
yeah,
It's so much more than that, and they
yeah.
know it. And so I just want to give a shout out to those guys. Cindy, come on. I just food, food.
putting
I
shots,
mean,
Jello shots, just
it
like
takes a village, and these people respond to us, to the village and the needs of the village.
mhm,
And so Cindy, also love you. Mike, James,
yeah,
every person has a little bit of something to do in here, and then we have extensions of this, right? Ryan,
yeah,
I want to give a shout out to Ryan, and what he does in his company, Sub Zero, Resin Northwest, right? And their connection with Dreams. But we've got to meet and be introduced to some very interesting people at our tailgate this season. And
mhm,
that's right. And
yeah,
doing what he does, besides the energy that he brings, and so appreciate that, and his connection to Dreams, right? And I text all these people before, I'm saying this here,
yeah,
because they're not sponsors, but you know what? There's a connection there.
yeah.
And Dreams Dispensary in Eugene, if you ever need a place to go, you can head over to Dreams, whatever. So shout out to Ryan too. I
Yeah.
wanted to do that because he's kept it interesting. And
Yes,
we've met some great people, and some of those people have become, well, let's say, friends of the program, that
exactly.
we've got an opportunity just to sit around and get to know. And
Yep.
I don't know what it is, Chef Marc, but why do they always want to come back post game and just hang out, bro? And that's because of the culture that we have established at the Big Oregon Tailgate,
Yeah.
right? I want to talk, Jensen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Jay Jones.
Kicking in, with Chef Marc, answering the call on what ahi, right? I mean, what were the other dishes he contributed to,
I mean,
and
he made those chicken meatballs and like, yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
I
Those were
mean, so again, just another extension. Um, Size Pizza again, but we had, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention them again. And then, probably finally, last but not least at all, my son,
dude.
right? I
Tyler.
mean,
Yeah.
first of all, just because he's my son, I'm probably a little biased, but he's legitimately my partner in crime on game days,
Hmm.
right? And it just so happens that we kind of look like each other. And you understand, we've watched him grow this year
Oh,
as
absolutely.
as a man, as a human, as in his professional life,
Hmm.
right? It's been absolutely enjoyable, right? And then meeting his workplace, so a shout out to the guys at Entourage Cannabis,
Right.
right? And if you're a dispensary anywhere in the area, give my son Kyler over at Entourage a call. He'll get you taken care of on any pre-roll needs you have. He's over there doing marketing with those guys, Entourage Cannabis. So if you're a dispo in the area and you need a supplier, give Entourage a call. They'll help you out. And we've had a chance to look at their product and see it, and the quality of things. And so, but yeah, I mean, that's where he works, but he's my son.
Yeah.
And so getting to see him Friday nights and coming over and helping set up and just hanging out and being who he is, security,
Yeah.
right? Security for us,
There's been,
right?
I mean, thankfully there hasn't been that many moments, but I mean,
Yeah, you know what I
it
mean?
happens. I
So
mean,
yeah,
it's like you mix humans with a little bit of beverages and
yeah.
whatnot and emotions
You
and
just never know.
yeah, you never
And
know. And thankfully we haven't had any issues. But
no, and
yeah,
again, I think that goes to the culture that we have established at our tailgate party.
right, right,
And not a tailgater goes by, Marc, that people don't talk about. I don't hear from different people talk about the love they feel when they walk in, the energy that they feel, the relaxed mode that they have when they walk in. I mean, I don't know if that's the lounge. I mean, it very well could be, but just that whole thing, and none of it happens, my man, without these people that I mentioned here. Is there anybody that you can think of that I'm missing at all? You
well,
know?
there's this guy named the Tailgate King. I think that it would be it would be remiss for me to not mention um, one. It was your idea to approach me about joining our two tailgates. I had a separate tailgate with Mike Lee. You had your thing going on, and we got a group together, and
Yeah.
it like it was your idea, and our our group, like the fact is like it melded together in a way in which is like very unique.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that was once again your idea. This show is your idea, and I think that like when I think about like the culture of our tailgate, it's really like that atmosphere that you create, the welcoming comfort, that smile on your face, the people come up to say hi, like
Yeah.
all those things. It's like truly like it's an honor just to be able to do that every single home game. And like for me, like it'd be one thing to just go to the game and go home, right? But
Yeah.
I think that going to a college football game or going to a sporting event itself it's an event. It's not only the tailgating, the game, and then the post tailgating for me, but it's like that whole experience in which you're like making these memories and meeting people and having these conversations that are really truly heartfelt. And I had a number of people come up to me this last tailgate, and they're just like, I've been doing this for years, and like I have to thank you because it's like come over and have a good time, great food, great spread, good atmosphere, good people. And I go, the fact is good people attract good people, and
Yes.
that's like all those people that you listed on the list, like, and there's many more. Like you can
Yeah.
go off the branches of the tree, like let's call it a coaching tree or whatever you want to call it, a tailgate tree. It's like that
Correct.
tailgate family, like just solid people, like
Yeah.
through and through. And not only that, but they're ducks, so that's even
Yes.
better. And so
The
shout
whole
out to
reason
all
we're all
those.
here, right?
Yeah,
The whole reason
exactly.
we're all here.
I mean, shout out to all those that contributed this year, helped support the tailgate, helped
Yeah.
support this podcast. I cannot like thank you enough. I'm excited to be back at the Masonic. Come, is it August, September? What like when is it? Spring game? We'll be there.
Off
Let's
season
go.
gets shorter.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
and we'll leading up to the spring game, we'll talk about it. But like, let's
Yeah.
focus on what we have in front of us, which is a
Yep.
game tomorrow. So
Yep. Well, I
I love that
appreciate that,
tailgate.
Chef Marc.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Let's go.
But yeah, this doesn't happen without T-Rod's ideas in his mind, and they're great. And I'm supportive of that. So T-Rod, thank you.
Appreciate
Um,
you, my man.
all right, I'm going to continue on with this theme, Chef Marc's menu of the week, and I'm going to the script and just run through like this year. Russ, I think in the chat here, I don't know why you haven't made it to the tailgate, but send us a DM, hit us up. We'll get you the information. It's over at the Masonic Lodge there in Eugene. We have two spots, pretty good size tailgate. Like T-Rod said, 75 to 125 people. You're more than welcome. Come join us. Have a good time. Hang out. Meet some duck friends before the game. Go to the game. Come back after the game. Hang out even more. So
Yeah.
it's a blast. We'd love to have you. All are
You never
welcome. And
know who
that
you might see. Oh, and actually, to be honest with you, our buddy Ryan wanted me to mention, because we're not name droppers here. We don't do that, right?
right.
That's just not what we do. I mean, we're a safe space for anybody that wants to come to our tailgate.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, listen, Ryan wanted me to mention his name, and it's because he's also connected to some of the places that we mentioned and multiple businesses throughout the area, and that's DeAnthony.
Mm-hmm.
Right, DeAnthony Thomas. We're gonna call him a friend of the tailgate at this point in time, man. We've had the opportunity to sit down and just talk whatever outside of football.
Yeah.
Best
Amazing.
conversations,
Just amazing human being, man.
just the
Like just
best
a yeah.
conversations to have, right? I mean, and just to get to know people on a personal level and spend time. And so I was asked to mention him. I wasn't going to just because, but you know what? Yeah, I'm going to put it out there, but he's also doing a lot of business stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? Follow him on Threads. Follow DeAnthony on Threads. He's quite busy there. Other social media platforms, obviously, but give him a follow. He's supporting this community,
Yeah.
right? This is the community he chose to be in, and
Mm-hmm.
we've had a chance to talk to him about what brought you back. You're white, so yeah, I'm gonna mention it, and not because for any other reason, but because hey,
Yeah.
I was said, hey, somebody just whatever. Okay, there it
Well,
is. We did
yeah.
it, but
Yeah. Absolutely. And like, not only is he a great doc, but like like just a great human being. Like the fact is, like
Yeah, I mean,
brings
yes.
fun, joy, and just like honestly, some of the most sincere conversations at the at the tailgate this year. It was just like
Yeah,
really
yeah,
cool. So
yeah.
and you know, advocate for local businesses, which I love. You know,
Yes.
and that's huge. Just wants to see people succeed and right on. I don't mind you dropping it. You know, it's like yeah, like
Hey,
once
you know
once you
what?
said
Yeah,
it's like yeah,
it's you,
just friends.
you tread lightly
Yeah,
sometimes because you just don't know. But I think he'd be all right with it. And so yeah, we'll just run with
right on.
it.
All right. So, Chef Mark's menu of the week. I have to say, you know, it's been a blast this year. Putting together the menus. When I put together the menus, I generally will try to tie in the Ducks opponent to the menu. So this year, I just run through. If you haven't been to the tailgate this year, we started off with the All American. It was like um, dogs and brats and you know potato salad, the pasta salad, the whole bit. We did an All American menu, and then we flipped the script a little bit, and we started getting those 12 o'clock kicks, those early kicks. I did some chili relleno. We did breakfast burritos, eggs, bacon, and go kick ass is what Dan says. You know, and tomorrow morning we're gonna do the same
Oh
freaking
man,
thing.
yeah,
Here we go.
let's
All right,
go.
and then we did Ohana for Oregon State, in which you know that was the last Civil War for right now. We don't know when the next one is. It's not on the books, but it was nice to celebrate Ohana and the family um, of Beaver fans, and there were some Beaver fans there. Pulled pork was awesome. Mike Lee, shout out to you. We did a huli huli chicken. We had the full works. It was a wonderful mixed plate menu. We did meatball subs for Indiana. And those were we mentioned earlier. Jensen made chicken meatballs were absolutely delicious, and we enjoy those post game. That post game is I'm gonna move past it. Okay, it was a bye week, right? It was a bye week. From what I call it, it was a bye week.
Yes,
We just hung out,
yes,
and
yes.
then we came back and we did for Wisconsin. We did Oktoberfest, and that was like something else, you know. Amy, what's up? Good to see you.
Oh, do we see
Hope you're
Brett up here with the Go
yeah,
Hoosers? Isn't
yeah.
that the bye week we were talking about?
We were talking about the bye week. I'm
We
not
didn't
even
want to
sure.
refer to
Brett,
that,
what's
but
up?
you know what?
Good to
Shout
see you.
out to you,
Yeah,
Brett. Good luck to you
yep.
guys this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for Oktoberfest, it was a blast. We did the brats, we did the schnitzel sliders, we did all that stuff, and we just had a great time. It was a good spread. It was I introduced my uh, honey mustard dressing to everyone. That everyone was stoked on that. Minnesota themed menu. We did hot dish and we did those loosey juicies. I hope everyone was able to get the stains out of their shirt. Those are exploding hamburgers. If you're not familiar with Lucy Juicy,
Oh
look it
yeah,
up. Enough said there. And then we finished the regular season off with not Lincoln's brisket. Thanks to Dan. Shout out to you for
man,
providing the brisket. Whew.
man.
Brought in three of those, sliced them up. We served them with nachos. Throw them on
Oh
with the nachos.
man.
We had the taco meat. We had the nacho cheese. We had the keto cheese. Thanks to Belize, and we served it all up with that brisket, and it was a blast. And then 10 days ago, we had a chili cook-off, and
Well, we also had the ahi that Jensen did on
oh yeah, and
nacho.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and Gilbert for supplying that line
yeah.
caught ahi, you know, and yeah, so ahi ceviche, you know, it was delicious, and yeah, that was part of the nacho spread, and I'm going to figure out how to keep that into the mix because I think that it needs to be like a focal point
Yeah.
at some point. But yeah, like 10 days ago, we did the chili cook-off. We had four different chilies. We had the Brunswick stew, and it was awesome. Like
Oh
everyone
man.
just had a great time. Honestly, last week or the for the first round playoff, I didn't really know what to anticipate. The ticket sales were kind of like one of those things where like I can't really judge. Are we playing for 50 people? Are we playing for 100 people? We're right around 100, you know, and
Yeah.
it was a
Yep.
good vibe. It was a really
Yep.
good vibe. Pre-game, the food was delicious. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And
It was almost like that Friday game vibe where it was kind of
right,
like this slow trickle, and then you had like this hour and a half of 2 hours of just bang,
yeah,
right? And so, but yeah, man, it was, you know, and every single one of those menus that you mentioned there, Chef Marc, there was always something for somebody like me to eat. And we've always talked about this all season and how much for me personally, I appreciate it. And Cindy and B and everybody just making sure that there's something that not only that T-Rod can eat, but anybody that eats like T-Rod can have. Right.
Absolutely.
And so, shout out to you on that. This is not the standard tailgate menu, people, that you probably normally see. I've seen some great, I mean, listen, you're probably not going to find alligator on a spit here.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But we are going to hook it up, and
Yeah.
we're going to hook it up right. Chef Marc's going to make sure it's on point, and the food's going to be brought. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is like I try to make sure we have enough food. And there was points in which this season where I'm like, holy smokes, it's because, and it's not that like people didn't eat. Like it was just like there was so many people that I'm like, oh, we need more food. And I was like scrambling. And it's not like I just have a fridge like I can run to like in the restaurant business. It's like, hey, thaw it out, let's go. And so we have to do a couple audibles
Go to
and
the
just
little
have a good time.
backup plan.
Yeah. So, but it's been fun. But my brother Brian in here mentioned this tailgate tip of the week, or the menu of the week was leftovers. Hey, holiday leftovers are great. Just make sure you consume them within 3 to 4 days. Beyond that, you're kind of touch and go.
There you
And
go.
so, yeah. Right on. Let's go ahead and flip the script here a little bit and get into the game this week. We have a game tomorrow.
Man,
And we
we
have a game
do.
kicking off here in 19 minutes, 4:30. But we'll touch bases with that. I don't have my TV on other than our logo here for the Oregon Football Tailgate Talk. So we'll still do that pick for the game tonight, which I'll be watching afterwards. But tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern time, the Oregon Ducks take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders at the
That's right.
Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida.
Just like it says here, yes, sir. Oregon about to wax Tech ass.
There we go.
It's
And
right
this
here.
segment is Ducks to watch. And so we'll have 2 offensive players each, 2 defensive players each. And that's why we call it Ducks to watch. And so we'll do 1 offensive each, and we'll flip back and forth, and we'll do 1 defensive each and flip back and forth. And then we'll move on to the last segment tonight, which will be the Bucket of Doom CFP edition, and where we fill out our brackets, make our picks. For those in the chat watching live tonight, let's try to keep, when this game kicks off here in 17 minutes, let's keep the score out of the chat if possible, which is completely all right because we're more than likely not going to make it until then, unless you want to make the pick right now. You want to do a pick?
We're talking about the
Miami, Ohio State,
and Hurricanes, right? I got mine written down here already.
Do you? Okay, I didn't fill mine out, so I'm going to go ahead and put mine on there.
I mean, I got the Buckeyes already written down.
Okay, that's what I had on as well. Yeah. All right, that's what I just wrote down. So we'll talk about that game here in that segment. But let's talk about the game, the Orange Bowl, and Ducks to watch. So why don't you start off with 1 offensive player that you would like to watch tomorrow in tomorrow's game, or not like to watch, but like you're paid like particular attention to. Just a reminder, T-Rod and I are not analysts. We're fans.
That's right.
So we're going to just pick 2 guys on offense and pick 2 guys on defense, in which we're going to pay a little bit more attention to as we watch the game progress. And so on the offensive side of the ball, you're pick number 1, and then I'll get pick number 1 on defense. How about that?
That sounds good. I mean, and for the most part, we're all going to be probably watching some of the same people that we're about to talk about. Why? Because we don't do research. So it is, again, what our eyes tell us, what our hearts want, and what we see with our own brains and whatever else, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have, I mean, really,
the lab is,
it's literally 1 page.
It is.
And
some so chicken scratch.
Let's and again, let me remind history. right? This is our first Orange Bowl.
It is.
If I'm not mistaken, I mean, I've been around a long time and I've never been to an Orange Bowl. I don't think we've ever been.
I don't think Oregon has ever been to the Orange Bowl.
So history made again tomorrow at 9 a.m. right here. History. It does give me a little FOMO, right? But at the same time, bigger things on the horizon. So this is what we're hoping for, right? So okay, my number one offensive player, it's sticking out like a sore thumb just because it is to everybody else. Everybody else is talking about him, but we need to see a difference tomorrow than we saw with Indiana, and that's Dante Moore. Right. And for just specifically that reason, I've thought, and we've heard him talk about, that the Indiana game was a growing experience for him because, he, maybe was too emotional going into that game or more emotional than he wanted to be going into that game. And maybe he never gave himself time to settle in or settle down. And that was also, attributed to, Indiana's defense. Right. And so, what is that growth there? From that type of game to now this game, which is turned up a notch. You don't have the comforts of home, right, that you had in the first round, and so how do you settle in now? How what was that growth from that Indiana game to now? Which I think he's played pretty well, but I don't want to see him make some of the throws that he's made in a couple of these last games. Right? I mean, those were what, 2 picks against JMU. And they were not good throws. So we'll see. I don't want to see those mistakes, but I also think he has the ability and will perform at a level that is going to make some throws that are going to be great throws, right? That he has to make. How does he respond to the pressure? And how comfortable he is getting out in space and using his legs to do damage. That I think could be a key. His threat and his ability to use his feet is going to have to keep Texas Tech, or they're going to have to keep him honest a little bit, which may slow down that rush a little bit if it's used effectively. So Dante Moore.
I like that pick. In fact, it was my pick as well. My first pick. And I don't know, like, we've never done this before where we actually picked the same guy. And I think that,
I think we should.
I'm going to stick with Dante Moore here.
Special teams earlier.
There are no rules for the Oregon Football Tailgate Talk. We make the rules, man.
That's exactly right.
Like the guy, the thing is like with Dante Moore, you could look back at that bye week game against Indiana, like, call it what it is, in which, like, he readily admitted he's like, I was too emotional, I was too high, I was too low. He's like, got down on myself. And it's like, when you talk to high performers as far as athletes go, it's not getting too high or too low. It's finding that zone and staying there and being consistent with that. And so it'll be interesting early on within the offense to see how Will scripts the offense within that first, like, possession or two, in which can we get Dante into that rhythm in which he is finding that consistency and finding that zone in which he's going to have those weapons on the offensive side of the ball with whether it's Malik Benson, whether it's DeCorn Moore, Gary Bryant Jr., J Mac. You just, like, you kind of go through that wide receiver room, and then the tight ends, where it's Jamari or is it Kenyon Sadiq. And it's like, how is he distributing it? How is he audibling? How is he shifting the offense and controlling the offense in a manner in which he's able to control his emotion and succeed in that. So it'll be interesting to see how he does perform there. And I
like
just watching some of his interviews this week. I feel confident in.
Yeah, so I like our wide receiver matchups against that secondary.
Yeah,
and so I think there's going to be guys to throw to if he has time, and if he makes the right read, obviously. I mean,
Yeah.
these are some of the obvious things that, if you went to the same lab that we go to,
Yeah.
you would be able to decipher with, some high level research,
Well, yeah,
right?
members
I mean,
access only, but like, yeah, I mean,
put it
it's
in the
like, yeah,
beaker and get your
yeah,
Bunsen burner and let's fire it up. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
so, but those are the things, right? As fans, we look at it from a simplified view,
Hmm.
and those are the things that we want to see. I think there's going to be guys to throw to. Does he have the time, and will he pick the right ones?
Well,
You
and
know,
I'm going to pick my second offensive player here to follow up on my Dante Moore pick to, kind of follow your pick of Dante Moore is the other guy I have, and the when I look at Texas Tech's defense, that linebacker core is probably one of the best in college football statistically, and
yeah,
what they do as far as Rodriguez and I'm blanking on the other guy's name, and they're both excellent players. They're both going to play at the next level. But like what I want to see in that matchup is how do our tight ends create space in that to try to dictate matchups against those guys. So my second duck to watch on offense is Kenyon Sadiq, and to see how he gets out in the passing game or blocking game. It's going to be key that he picks up blocks. And he's an excellent blocker. I mean,
yeah,
he's key in that run game. He's key in the pass protection game, but also in the receiving game. So it'll be interesting to see that matchup between Kenyon and those linebackers in which Texas Tech does have. So
yeah. And
yeah,
and I agree 100%. Hey, shouts out to Tierra McMahon here. She's the one that made our organ sign, our
this
light up organ sign. That I don't is that do you have it or I have it? Is I
I think
I probably
it's
do
in your
have it.
box. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But no, the one,
Still
yeah.
unpacking.
So shout out to you. Is the bucket a doom drawn at the spring game for the playoffs, right? You know what, BT, I leave that to my boss over there on when that's drawn. So I do as I'm told there, my man.
Yeah, yeah. Right on. No, no,
Yeah.
Brian, we will I don't know, it's yet to be decided. Maybe we'll do a post like college football playoff pod. Who knows now that we have this ability to do it
But I
remotely.
do I do like the spring game idea. Just drag that drama out. That way I don't have to face my reality, of course, if it has become my reality
We don't
till
even have a bet right yet. And the fact is we don't have that hat anymore. It's gone, dude. It's
yeah,
in
boy,
ashes.
it went
So
up in flames too.
yeah, oh man. So
But
all
yeah,
right. So your second offensive player for Ducks to watch versus Texas Tech.
yeah, I mean, at first I was gonna, go like an offensive lineman or somebody like that because obviously that's a crucial matchup here with that defensive line that they have against, with our. But instead, I'm gonna go with what I think is gonna be or need to be, sixth offensive lineman kind of a thing, and not even a tight end, but I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go with Noah Whittington.
Oh, there you go.
Just because I mean he's RB1, right? So um pass pro is going to be a huge part of this game for the reasons we just mentioned about having time to see who's open, get the right person. And I think obviously we're going to need all of our running backs to be good in pass blocking and picking up whatever it is that's coming at them,
Hmm.
right? But also at the same time, I think he can be a very effective piece coming out of the backfield and catching balls. And because you know against the speedy, fast defense like this, especially on the interior there, obviously, I mean, I hate to say this, but do we look forward to screening them to death? Do we look forward to those quick sideline passes? And I hope not, but I think if I think a very effective screen game is going to be needed and could be very, very impactful in this game. And I think, obviously Noah's, a guy that we've seen do that. but as well as the other running backs. But
Yeah.
he's going to set that tone. He's whatever they call him, grandpa or papa or whatever they call him, old man, right? He's going to set that tone. But outside of the run game, which is the obvious thing, what else is he going to need to do effectively? And all of our running backs do outside of being the running backs. They're going to need to be good blockers and possibly really good receivers coming out of the backfield. So that's why I went with him. I think that all of our RBs are going to have to be that triple threat as far as the running back, blockers, and receiver.
Yeah, and
So that's it.
my mom would love that pick. That's her favorite Duck offensive player. So
Shout out to
uh,
Karen.
yep,
Shout
yep,
out to
yep.
Karen.
So no, I like that. Let's flip to the defensive side of the ball for the Ducks to watch. Defensive side of the ball, my pick number one is going to be Bear Alexander.
Okay.
And I think that it's like so important when you think about the offense versus Texas Tech's offense. I think it starts with their running game. They have two running backs. How, should write these things down, right? I should put those things on the
No,
notepad.
no,
Yeah.
no, whatever. I
I
think
know one of the running backs,
one of
their
them's over a
primary,
thousand yards, and right, and the other
primary. That's
one's
Dickey.
and one
Dickey's
of
their
them's what
primary,
almost 800 yards on the
almost 800
season.
yards exactly. And so I mean, between those two guys, you have almost 1,800 yards or over 1,800 yards running, and they're explosive. They
Yep.
will hit those holes and go. And so, how does Bear match up in the run game and be able to contain or hope to contain those running backs? Will be my first pick for my Ducks to watch on the defensive side ball. Let's flip it over to you for your defensive pick number one.
Well, for all those same reasons you just gave, but I have Amari written down here for the exact same reasons
Perfect.
you just gave. Right?
Yeah.
They are going to need to be disruptive in that interior. So they can't hit those holes, have those explosive plays up the middle. And their quarterback, I think if we can make him uncomfortable, what I'm hearing, right? That he's firing at like 85% health, right? Was in a boot prior to their last game or last two, whatever it was. I know he had to sit out a game because of injury. That was one they lost to Arizona State.
Hmm.
Is he as mobile, right? Um, is he going to be as effective with his legs? And I think the two guys that we just mentioned are going to do their best to make sure he is as uncomfortable and get him moving on an
Yeah.
uncomfortable limb.
Yep.
And so I like that. I like it. We need both of those guys to be disruptive as hell.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, as far as like the quarterbacks in which we faced recently, like is Morton the most mobile guy? Probably not.
Yeah.
Um, and so it'll be interesting to see, can we get home? Like, is like Tatum, Mateo, Bear, Amari, Blake, like Terrence Green, Deanna Gray, like all Nasir White, like you could just go on, and like that rotation. The key will be like getting after him, and I like the fact that you picked Amari right in the middle of that line. And once again, for the same reasons that I said about Bear, my
Yep.
second guy is Jerry Mixon, and we
Yep.
talked about Bryce earlier, but like to complement him, it'll be I think it'll be key to see how Jerry responds not only in the run defense, but also in the pass defense. They like to get after, like utilize a lot of their wide receivers, but also their tight ends. So it'll be interesting to see how Jerry matches up. We saw early on in the season in which Jerry had a couple picks, was very active in the pass game, and has been like really kind of like at least as a fan, a bit of a surprise within that linebacker room this season, and I look forward to see how he shows up tomorrow there at the Orange Bowl.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's a great pick just because the fact that, coverage, he's been pretty good, and you can ask some of the experts that, do a whole lot of research and, they could pick some things apart about him, but, he's made some obvious plays. But I, I think also because of the teachings of a Bryce Betcher
Mhm.
and those guys. He's been good in coverage, and has the ability to do that. And it's interesting because if we flip it to the other side, you know, I know, they talk about Rodriguez or the mustache mob or mustache mafia or whatever they call
Mhm.
those guys. And I just don't think that there's being enough credit given to our tight ends ability to keep those guys busy, because if you don't, our tight ends will make you pay. And we've seen
Yeah.
that all season long. So you better. And if you're not, gonna be in that middle to then we start running the ball. If we can find those gaps, we start running the ball. And so, I think for the same reasons, Texas Tech needs to look out as well. But I like that Mixon pick. I think it's on the money, man.
Nice. So your pick number 2 on defense for Ducks to watch is?
Uh, Dylan Fenneman,
I love it. I
right?
love it.
Uh, for all of the reasons of his ability to try to get downhill against what could be an effective run game, or at least stopping it from becoming an effective run game, right? But I also, if if um, if we can make this stuff happen, with Amari and Bear, and make that their quarterback a little uncomfortable, make some throws that are a little bit questionable. I think there might be a pick somewhere out there waiting for Dylan to go up and grab. And if it's not going to be him, it's going to be maybe Canada or Flowers anyway. But you know what
Yeah.
I mean. And so, yeah, I'm gonna go with Dylan on that. I think he's going to be huge against the run game, and I think that there's a turnover sitting out there waiting for him to go get.
Well, and I really like that pick because I think that if you were to look at the JMU game and listen to some of Dylan's comments post game in the last week or so, I don't think there was a lot of satisfaction with what he left on the field, and there's like that he wants to go out there and perform at a different level. He doesn't want to leave that taste in his mouth. And so I think that the coaches have really kind of emphasized that in the last you know, week and a half or so. And
Yeah.
I think that you're right. I mean, the key is like the defense kind of lives and dies in that defensive backfield, and you know how can he perform to eliminate a lot
Well,
of
and
these
that's
explosive
interesting.
plays in which Texas Tech has done. Like they
Yeah.
live and die off the explosive play, and so can Oregon stop that? You know,
Yeah, and that's and it's interesting that we're talking about that because it looks like what Luis
Luis, yeah,
Riviera, right? Why is a lot of people siding with Texas Tech? I got Oregon. Oregon scared a little bit more. Experience is why I got Oregon.
good perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're saying that the D line, Texas Tech getting Oregon. I doubt it. Yeah, no, I think experience obviously is one thing, right? We saw almost exactly a year ago, we saw what I felt like was kind of a lack of experience going into a game like that, given obviously the layoff. Everybody wants to talk the layoff. Lanny's not going to use that as an excuse. Neither will Texas Tech's coach if that happens, this season. But I think a lot of the reason that people are looking at that obviously is because of the stats.
yeah.
And of course, people are going to say that was against Big 12 teams. You know, I just they're giving a lot of credit to that D line,
Yeah,
and I like that. But we're hearing nothing else outside of Rodriguez. That we're hearing nothing else about any of the rest of that defense.
yeah.
And I just really like our chances if we can control the line of scrimmage. I don't I don't do I dare even say that I don't even know if the game's close. If that happens and it proves out that we can control that line of scrimmage, I don't know if this game's close.
Well, and to be fair, it's like honestly, Texas Tech doesn't really have a choice in the conference in which they play in. Oregon doesn't really have
Correct.
a choice with the conference in which they play in. Like the whole entire you know reorganization of conferences and whatnot. It's like it is what
Yeah.
it is. Like and the schedule in which they have in front of them is the schedule in which they have to play. And so
Yep.
the quality of their opponents is not dictated by the quality of their own team, right? So
Right.
the stats are the stats, right? There's the
Yep.
stats, and then there's the eye test, and then there's the actual playing of the game on the field. And like you
Right.
said, and like Luis said, it's like people like say experience. Well, then you look at Oregon and you look at the number of young guys playing. Like honestly, there's experience, but there is a lack of experience. So I think it's very diverse in which you look at Oregon, and that's the benefit of college football. That's something unique about college football. It's different than the NFL game. Is the fact is every 4 years you get a cycle of new players,
Well,
complete
and
new cycle
obviously,
of new players, right?
I'm with Louise. I have Oregon obviously because I have them winning the national championship every year, even back in the late '80s and early '90s when there was no chance. We were always winning the national championship. But I'm right there with you, and I think it's I Texas Tech handled business how they should this season against the
Hmm.
teams that they played, except for
Right,
Arizona State. But and so even if it was the Big 12, they handled their business and handled it properly. It's
right.
not like they were, in these, tight games and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I believe this game is going to be a close game and a good game. But obviously I got the Ducks pulling it out. So we'll see.
Right on, right on. Well, I love that segment. I love that's one of our segments on the pod. The last segment is the Bucket of Doom CFP edition. Right behind me here. I think
Yeah.
you guys can see this. There's the bucket. Happy New Year. There's the bucket. There isn't like Brian mentioned. It's like, hey, this is settled at the spring game, right? Well, we don't really have like a bet or anything. But one thing I did get for you, T-Rod, and you'll be getting this in the mail here shortly. It's something that's near and dear to both of us. Um,
Oh,
I got you a Malik
yeah.
Benson busting the
Yeah.
W over the
Let's
knee tee.
go.
Oh, what a moment, right? What a moment.
Dude.
I got this
Dude.
off of the Malik Benson site, NIL site, in which he made this
Dude.
tee, busting that W over the knee from the Washington game, in which he breaks through those 4 or 5 defenders to score a touchdown,
Yeah.
throws up the W, busts it over his knee, and look at that! Like I don't even
Dude.
I
That
almost
is that
cherished this.
is sick, my
It
man.
is sick. Yeah. So I have a
Yeah.
matching one. We'll have to sport it next season. But it just like I don't know. There was something about it. I was like, okay, we gotta get a
That
pair of
that
that.
will
So yeah,
single-handedly go down outside of, I love Panay's dunking the W, and the whole
yeah,
arm, just that right there is probably the best dubs down in the history of Oregon history. That right there, best
yeah,
dubs down ever. I mean, come
yeah.
on.
And I thought that the artwork itself, like they did it so well. Like it, I
Yeah,
mean, it's obviously the image, but
yeah.
like the banging of the yeah, it's perfect. Well done, Malik. I hope you were
That's a shirt
involved
that
on
will
that
that's a shirt that will wear well for a
long
long
time,
time
a
as it
long time.
starts to fade and gets a little peely and
Yeah,
yeah. Oh
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So a little bucket of doom award there.
Yes, thank
Let's
you.
yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the Cotton Bowl. Right on. It's live right now. 8 minutes. I believe they've already kicked off. I haven't. I don't have it on the TV. I could pop it on. I'd probably get some broadcast issues if I have it live on behind me. So we'll avoid that.
All
Um,
right.
but nonetheless, we have the Cotton Bowl. We both made the picks a little bit earlier because we knew the game was going to kick off. We both picked Ohio State or the OSU over Miami tonight. And is there anything about this game in which you're kind of like, okay, this is why I picked the OSU over Miami? Was there a Mario factor in this? Can he big game Mario? Does he
Yeah,
show up twice in one season, back to back weeks? Is it possible he does? Like, I see his little head shake, and I think that like for me, like one like when I think about Ohio, the OSU, I try not to say that school's name, but I think about like just like the weapons not only they have on offense but on defense and how they match up against Miami, Mario, and like what Mario tries to do. And I just think that the front seven for Ohio State is that much better than Miami. And and then you throw in their safety and you throw in those guys and you're just like, oh my
Yeah.
god, okay. So any thoughts on the game tonight? I'm gonna flip it on as soon as as we're
Yeah.
done with the pod.
No,
But
for all those reasons there, I think obviously, I think the key is the Buckeyes being able to establish the run game against that Miami defense, and if they can do that, I think that they'll win this game. I think, my problem is when they haven't been able to do that, they haven't scored that many points against those teams that they played. Indiana, and then they had another pretty low scoring game against a pretty good defense, and this season. And so if they can't handle that Miami defense, then the game stays closer than I would like to see it.
yeah,
But if they can, I think actually if they can throw the ball effectively, then Sand's the difference. But it's
right.
a different game. It's a fresh. He's new to this. Carson Beck talked about it being old. Heck, I don't know why I don't like Carson Beck, man, but whatever. He's getting the thing done. There's always a Mario factor I'm going to sprinkle in there, but I think Miami's defense is the reason this game stays closer
Hmm.
than what some people think. I think it was a 7.5 point or 6.5 point game, I believe, is the line on it. But I think the Buckeyes get it done. I think their defensive line, especially coming off the edge, handles business. I think Beck throws a pick, and I think it's to Downs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Caleb Downs like probably the best safety in the nation. Like,
yeah,
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 he's a dude.
yeah,
And I think that the one thing to watch when I pop it on, and I'm gonna go back to watch it, as it kicked off.
yeah.
But Ryan Day calling plays because Hartline got hit. Like he's coaching, but I don't think he's calling plays. So it'll be interesting to see how that works because he hasn't called plays for Sane all year. It's been Brian Hartline. So that will be interesting. But I still think that Ohio State wins this game. Let's move on to the Peach Bowl. Peach Bowl. Why do I have this written down as a Peach Bowl? It's not the Peach Bowl. It's the Orange Bowl. Um, I don't even know why. Like we're playing the Orange Bowl tomorrow, right?
We are.
Okay.
I know there is something out there that's kind of a cross between a peach and an orange, but I don't know, what that
Yeah.
fruit is. But we can call it that. The
Well, and I remember spending some time down in Florida in late November, early December, and the oranges, I've never experienced citrus like this. It's unreal. If you ever have a chance to get down there, like, uh, it's different than the grocery store stuff. Like, it's
is that
candy.
I mean, is it got the thick rind, those thick rind, just juicy juice?
Dude, like I remember going to this farmer's market when I was down there, and I went and picked up some oranges. And I went to my rental car, started peeling that thing. It just peeled nice, and I put a slice of it. I forget exactly what varietal it was. Put a slice in my mouth. It literally melted like cotton candy, dude. Like it was freaking. It was and I think I had like 4 or 5 of them. Those were
Yeah,
gone in a day,
yeah,
dude. And I was just like back to more citrus, more citrus, more citrus.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So anyway, the Orange Bowl tomorrow, Oregon versus Texas Tech. I think most of you that are watching tonight could probably guess um, who I'm picking and probably who T-Rod's picking.
Oh yeah,
Let's go,
absolutely,
Ducks!
absolutely. Yep, yep. And
We talked about this game.
probably for similar reasons that we've
Yeah.
talked about this whole show.
Yeah, and I think that like honestly, coming out of the JMU game, uh, although it was a win, it didn't feel like a win. It didn't feel like Dan and the coaching staff and the players. It felt as though they had lost the game,
Mhm.
and they needed to go out and prove themselves. And I don't believe that the last 10 days has been easy on this team. I
Yeah.
think the last 10 games has been like, hey, are you guys satisfied with that? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now's the
100%.
time to show up and prove it.
That's right.
Show up and show them what that doctor prescribed.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's what I have. I have Oregon tomorrow. I don't do I don't do score predictions. People come to me and was like, what do you think of it? What's the score going to be today? I'm like, I don't do score predictions. I have Oregon winning. Whether it's one
Yeah.
point or 15 points, it's go Ducks. Um, and I look forward to waking up 9 a.m. Wake up before that. I don't know if I'm going to sleep tonight. Um, we're gonna have some fun, my wife and I, and we'll celebrate the new year. I already have the party stuff, so let's
Hey.
go. I have some party glasses too. Look at 2026 right there,
All
and
right. All
the
right.
party hats back there. So yeah, we're gonna have a good time. But yeah, 9 a.m. kick tomorrow morning. Eggs, bacon, and go kick ass.
Eggs, bacon, and go kick ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's perfect, man. I just yeah, it's I hesitate to put a oh, whoo, there it is. Had to
You lose your light there, huh?
nah, well, I wanted to plug my phone in just to make sure
Uh,
because it's
yeah,
but I mean, I got my Jackery sitting right here below. It's all things power all the time, man. I mean,
exactly. Well,
but
like I said to start off, this is a new setup for us. Doing it
yeah,
remotely. But
yeah.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, and I'm like you. I mean, I don't necessarily like to give score predictions. I know it's a 2.5 point spread. I think, I think like you touched on earlier, special teams could very well be the difference in this game. But also, if we handle that D line, I think they're in trouble. But I don't know. I think that those two things cancel each other out. I think the trenches, if we call the trenches a draw,
hmm
the difference is our players against theirs. And at that point in time, I think there is a little bit of a separation between what the Big 12 speed is versus a Big 10 Oregon speed is.
right.
And for that reason, I think we win. Is it comfortable? I don't know. I don't know. It's either 3 or it's 17. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I don't know. But
Well,
we win. We
yeah.
prevail.
Right on, right on. Let's go to the next game. So the Rose Bowl. Last year we were at the Rose Bowl, Oregon versus the
Yeah.
OSU. This
Yeah.
year it's Indiana, the number one seed overall, versus Alabama. Which what is interesting in this matchup for me is Kalen DeBoer was the offensive coordinator at Indiana in, in his prior stops. He was the OC at Indiana, became the head coach at Fresno State, went up north, was there for a little stop, and now he's at Alabama. And you have Alabama traveling to Pasadena to take on Indiana
Yeah.
tomorrow after the Orange Bowl. We go to the Rose Bowl. Who do you like in this matchup?
I like the Hoosiers. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't think the game's close. I don't think the game's close. I think Bama got by a one-dimensional Oklahoma team that was exposed already.
Mm-hmm.
Did I have Oklahoma winning? Yeah, absolutely did. I mean, look at Bama's performance against Georgia the week before, or the game before, 10 days prior before, right? Whatever. But unless it's the curse of the first round bye,
Right.
I just don't know if this game is going to be close. I think Indiana's too well rounded, too dangerous. At both on both sides of the ball, let alone in their run game and or their pass game. But yeah, I mean, I see it as something about a 10-point game, something like that, 13 points. With Indiana prevailing. So yeah,
Yeah.
Hoosiers.
That's who I also have. I had Indiana, or have Indiana on the board, and when I think about this game, I think about not only Signetti but also Kalen DeBoer. It's going to be an offensive game. I think it's going to be very. I mean, depending on the weather, it sounds like the weather's going to be decent. A
Yeah,
little bit of potential of rain, which could make it a little bit sloppy, but nonetheless, like I think it's going to be one of those games in which um, whatever offense is clicking is going to go. And
yeah,
I hate to say it, but like Signetti is a bit of a
yeah,
sicko when it comes
yeah,
to
yeah.
performing. And
I mean,
I think
honestly,
he's
I kind of like
yeah,
Signetti as a coach. I mean, he's kind of just that.
yep, yep,
He has just enough to rub you the wrong way if you let it. Kind of like our coach,
yeah,
and I think that's obviously what. But I mean, when we look at those coaches, all the coaches in the quarterfinals outside of Ole Miss that I don't know because their actual coach is now at LSU.
right,
Outside of that, I mean, all of these coaches have some sort of an edge to them. Even Mario does.
yeah,
And it's I don't care about his edge, and it's yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm still going
It
to
is, yeah.
continue. He's going to find a way to lose this game.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of the Cotton Bowl, no, the Sugar Bowl. Why am I saying Cotton? I have all these bowl games all screwed up. They should be played at home anyhow. It
Yeah,
should be like this next game should be in Athens, Georgia. It should be Ole Miss going to Athens, Georgia to play the Georgia Bulldogs.
yeah.
And which would make it a little bit weird if like Lane Kiffin showed up to Athens, Georgia to watch his former team. But there's rumors out there he's going to show up to watch his former team in
That's
New Orleans because he now resides in
that's just
Louisiana.
is
Um,
that weird or is that weird?
I think it's weird. I think it's weird. I think the whole thing is weird. I think I
Who's he
like
root?
like
I mean, does he
like
root
I'm
for them?
like I don't know over the last few years or whatever. Lane's a good follow on Twitter. Um, what
Yeah,
he did at Ole Miss, I thought he should stick it out. I understand like going to Louisiana, going to LSU, like it's a whole different thing. But like he had something going there, and I think there's some bridges that he's burnt, but there's bridges that he's burnt every single place he's been. Like
everywhere,
every single place. Um,
everywhere. Yeah,
although I don't think he burnt bridges when he left, or he was tarmacked at USC. I think they left him on the other side of the bridge.
he
Um,
was tarmacked for
yeah.
sure.
So I do have Georgia winning this game. I
Yeah,
think that Kirby Smart and uh, their offense, their defense, they're relentless, man.
yeah.
They're a team to beat. If I were to look at um, this bracket right now, you're like, oh man, like when I fill it out, it's Oregon, Indiana, Georgia, and Ohio State as making it to the semifinals. What do you have in that game? Are you picking Ole Miss or are you picking Georgia? Or we have the same bracket here?
We got the same bracket.
Because we both
Yeah,
picked Oklahoma last week,
yeah.
and so we both have one loss. Let's see if that if it holds chalk.
Same bracket.
Same bracket. There we go. Um, uh, you think about like those, like if Oregon beats Texas Tech and those are the top four teams, like I think any one of those four teams can win it. Honestly, any one
And
of
if
those four teams.
and it's funny how again I'm going to talk about it, right? I mean, obviously, USC found a way to crap the bed. I mean, tackle somebody, please. I mean, just come on. Lay your body out to
Did
get
you
that
see
guy
those
out.
two defensive players, like the
Oh my
linebackers or
God!
whatever,
Just
and they
where's
both
he?
like they dive and like
Dude.
simultaneous. It was like synchronized tackling,
Yeah,
just a whiff, and like
you
it was
know.
just like oh,
But I mean, honestly, I
what
mean,
a walk off.
I think this is I would love it to work out this way, right? Then you're three out of your top four in the semifinals are out of the Big
I
Ten,
noted that. I noted that.
or to a degree, you could almost flip that script, but not. I mean, not really, right? The best you could do would be Ole Miss and Bama, in there.
Or you could do Georgia and Bama.
Yeah. So I
But
mean, it's yeah. So, but I think I think this bowl season has proven, maybe not proven, but shown me to be somewhat accurate in my opinion of the SEC this season. Now, I didn't watch Iowa Vandy earlier because still had business to attend to, so I
same
wasn't
here. Yeah.
tune into that game. I honestly, I haven't even how'd that work
I honestly, we're bad podcasters for not knowing the score.
out?
I don't know who won that game either. Although like I just watching and like as I was shopping, doing some things, running some errands with my wife and whatnot. I did see that people were like, really, this Iowa team won the Joe Moore Award. So
Gotcha.
there was a
Yeah,
little bit of that, but
I haven't
yeah,
even
I don't
looked.
know. Like, did Pavia close it out? Like at one point, I think
God, that
Iowa
guy,
was
man.
up.
I
Like,
wish that that guy is like Johnny Manziel, the Latino edition.
but like I don't know. Like Johnny's Johnny, Pavia. Like I don't
Wants
know.
to be,
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
to be.
There's
I
a
don't
little
know.
bit more trying there, if you ask me.
We'll take a look
Um,
at it, but even
yeah.
up to that point in time, I think the SEC is shown to be not as deep or as talented of a conference as everybody wants them to be, especially ESPN. And so here we are. We'll see. We'll see. We'll
Yep.
see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see.
All right, so we both have Oregon beating Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl. We both have Indiana beating Alabama in the Rose Bowl. We both have Georgia beating Ole Miss at the why am I blanking here at the Sugar Bowl, and
Yeah.
we both have the OSU beating Miami tonight um, at the Cotton Bowl.
Cotton Bowl.
So, yep.
Yeah.
So, that's all we have tonight.
Yes.
Will we do another pod?
Yes. Yes, we will.
That we will.
Yes,
Um,
we can. Yes, we will. Yes.
absolutely, absolutely. It's been a pleasure to thank you all that are live, have popped in, joined us live tonight. Thank you all that are watching
Thanks,
later on.
everybody.
Um, as of this morning, we had 72 subscribers. I've told a number of people, like when T-Rod approached me with this, we set like a very lofty goal of 30 subs by the end of the season. And it
Lofty.
was just like, we just wanted to like, grow this organically. We didn't even know if it would work.
Yeah.
And it's been like something that I look forward to each and every week. I hope
Oh, yeah.
you as listeners, watchers,
Yes.
subscribers, friends of the pod,
We couldn't do
whatever
it
you
without
are.
you
We
guys.
couldn't. It's been a blast. We look forward to future editions on the road where we can pop in. Maybe we'll do one post game tomorrow if we're feeling like it.
We'll see you again.
Hey, we'll see you. Yeah. So,
Happy New Year. Be safe. Be smart. And have a great breakfast tomorrow morning and enjoy some mimosas or something.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Have a good time. And be safe tonight. Happy New Year to you all. Happy New Year to you, T-Rod.
Right back at you, Chef Marc.
Yep. And more importantly, as we end, let's go
Go
Duck.
Ducks.